And like, so the reason that is coming on there is because the engineering one grant has not been let. And we
Okay.
have to pay.
I'll not change it for you then.
Still.
All right.
So we have to-
Okay, I'm gonna kind of go back here and go back and forth.
That's why you're seeing-
I'm gonna
That's fine.
call the meeting to order.
Please gotta meet you guys.
Oh, order.
I probably noticed the meeting. No, that's not the agenda.
That's okay, it's my notes.
Oh, okay. It was posted on the board and it's on the web. The agenda is a 10-point agenda. I have a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ashley, second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I sent the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any corrections or changes?
No.
Otherwise,
It's good.
motion to approve the minutes.
I will move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The next thing is just kind of review of the 25 grant. And I put that in the packet. So we've done, I think we've got some more training yet on the good smart training, on the training part. Maintain, the strategic grant, we've been paying,
MSA.
MSA, thank
For
you,
their
my
work.
brain's not working,
Yep.
to do that, we did get to the base budget. We've still been working with MSA, they're doing some of our parcel work. And,
We're about $46,400 right now for MSA.
okay, so we're just a little over the 20,000 and 24,000, just a little over. Correct?
Around 46,400 for this year. So far.
So far. And that's,
And we still have a month to go yet.
You anticipate having more?
We're going to have more because the splits are not complete. So we're not finished doing splits yet. So there'll be more to do there yet. And there's CSM and plot of surveys to be added yet.
and we may have to use some of our, the retained fees to cover what we gotta do, it. We can't leave the splits by themselves. And we paid the fiddler, correct?
Yep.
We've been paying the fiddler?
Yep.
Okay, and the Adobe, we do have like 5,500 left in the dam shadows if I need to. I can amend it, use that to cover some of the shortfall on the, I mean, we need them, but we need the parcel split some more. So I can always do an amendment if that's all right with you guys.
So how much would come out of the dam shadows? Entire thing come?
Well, we'll have to see what it amounts to at the end of the year.
So are the dam shadows being worked on now?
No,
They're not at all?
Have they?
Who does those?
well, that's what that's what we're gonna have MSA do, but I think we need to make sure we've got our parcel splits covered. And then we've spent the $38,710 on this is the culvert 3D, that's that LiDAR. And, we do have, the webpage is up. My staff had some training on it, how to use it. We have, we haven't released the website like to the general public. We were talking, that, you know, John may, you know, emergency management should probably right now use it, have a link to it. We can show you how to use it. Because if there's ever a disaster, it'd be nice for you to have that information. And we've been able to use it quite well for, Derek's been doing some of his work. He's been able to do like slopes. He's been able to do drainage areas. Jen and I and Noel were at a Wisconsin County Code Administrators meeting, and the non-metallic mine person was there, and then the person who does chapter 30 permits for non-metallic mines, which chapter 30 is waterway permits, and found out that if a quarry has a pond in it, if it is not externally drained, if it's within 500 feet of a stream or water, they have to have a chapter 30 permit. Or if it's more than that, but it has a conduit to ditch or whatever goes to that stream, that counts too. They have to have a chapter 30. So we have a mine down there by Gotham, Eggers Quarry. And so, hey, let's try this on that. And so we were able to see that no, he's not within 500 feet and there's no external drainage because we're able to look.
Put LiDAR.
The LiDAR thing. So we don't want to, you know, releasing among us is one thing, but releasing to the general public to, you know, be able to use it. We want to understand it first before we.
What is a chapter 30?
It's a waterway permit through the DNR.
Okay.
And then it's the statute, they call it chapter 30, but that's the NR.
Gotcha, okay.
DNR rules.
And we'd like to have them versed in it a little bit better before we release it to the public with all the questions that would come from the public, then they'll be versed longer and be able to use it a little bit. So maybe come spring, we'll visit that to release it back out to the public, because we'd really like them to be able to see their slopes. And
Yeah.
the
And
drainage.
because public funding's used, we can't really say they can't use it. We just want to be able to, don't want to set it out, hey, and they're like, well, how do we do this? How do we do that? Well, we don't know. So, but yeah, it'd be, you know, like, I can see your department playing with it a little bit for the water stuff,
Or, flood
flood,
mitigation.
runoff. Yep.
That can-
So I can get you that link, so, and we,
Okay.
yep. We can kind of show you a few things, but we're still learning, so it's like, don't wanna. But I mean, I can see like, you know, somebody's looking at us, buying a piece of property, be able to,
Right. Exposure.
yep. So, does that sound all right for the 25 grant? If we, like I said, if we have that variable in there of that 5,500 and I'd rather use it.
That,
Right.
yeah.
Especially if nothing's been done.
Yeah. So now we get to, now the one I've got here is not complete. The 26 grant. So again, we've got,
There's a copy of one that's
Yep.
roughly filled in
yeah,
back here. You,
I just got part of it. We've got $1,000 for the training. Whatever training we need, we can put in there.
and we're gonna try to do ARC Pro training again this year.
And then I don't have it written in there, but on this one, but I did put on that one, we'll have $20,000 for the parcel like we've done in the past. Use a strategic grant for the parcel splits to make sure those get on the map and updated. And this is we have like $77,888 for the base budget grant.
Who determines that?
The state does. So it, with what the reports we send in, send to the state is what the retained fees are, we have. And that report gets sent in, then they take $100,000 minus that. That gives us our base budget. So we get up to 100,000.
Yeah, it's on page 8.
Which one?
It's on the 2025,
The annual?
26. We have a handout,
Okay.
and it'll be in the first one. And that's how much we're given.
First, 2025 grand shadow, some of that also 2026.
No, well, I'd have to amend the grant.
So we don't lose that
No,
No, we would just use it for,
for later. Okay, and that's allowed.
that is allowed.
That's,
Yeah. So that's gonna go into 6 then.
I think 2026.
No, well, we can spend it through the end of December 31st, 2026.
Okay. Now, it's 55 for MSA.
So the total for
MSA would get the 55.
eligibility is over here, so.
yes,
Three
they'll
different
get
grants.
grants.
Right.
I'm seeing.
Yep.
Whatever we
What is this one?
finish up, parcel map.
Strategic, that is, it's,
So that
do
would-
the,
Ah,
so they can
we're
do
supposed to
that,
use it towards
and then we'll just,
things that keep,
adjust that amount,
right.
and then
we've used it
yeah,
for,
sales will have to go into
remonumentation in the past, the parcel.
Which is fine.
This is
I mean,
that's
they
what we
kinda
use
run
for the
together.
updating the parcels.
So how it's
Right.
written.
So
Right. Yeah.
are we taking advantage of this then
Yep.
too, on top of
Yep.
this grant?
Yep, so that's the 3 parts of the grant.
Risk analysis again.
So this is the one where we kind of figure out a little bit more what we're gonna use it for. That's where,
See, and
Oh, the eye is confusing.
these are based on our whole plan that we put together for.
So
Yeah,
would,
yeah. So that's
so
where
where can, what
anything
can
we
I
had in there,
utilize?
we.
We're gonna use-
can
we
add
utilize-
Out of this?
yeah.
fund,
So who gets to
as
use
long
this
as
then?
it's in that plan.
It's,
Land Information Council, like, further.
find it.
I'm not a driver.
Yep. So anything that's in there.
The strategic grants.
Work on.
This project that I wanna do is cost more than that.
Yes.
Oh, we won't have that,
Yep.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. 'Cause
What do you- I mean,
here
that's
it
what they want
has
to talk
say
about,
what
but-
every page that this is on.
Well, and I had MIS is supposed to be getting me prices on scanners, so that we can do some of the work ourselves, but they haven't gotten me prices yet, but I'm figuring it's gonna be around $6,000 just for the scanner. So,
So what, okay,
so I'll have to, even if we do the projects ourselves, we'll still have to pay Fiddler some fees to,
okay,
check over the images and then put them into our system.
okay. So that's where, okay, where that, okay. The base budget is where we're at, and that's the new one I put over there. Yep, that one. So.
And then I also have a question. There was startup costs that Sue had never paid yet from Fiddler. That was, split into 3 payments. And it's 13,500 paid 3 times.
And that's for what?
That's the startup cost to get the Fiddler software and to get all the images in. So that, I have no idea where that's supposed to come from.
I don't know either. I know like Julie pays for Catalyst for that side of it. We paid for Catalyst for the. So I'm not sure.
So was it in your base budget for last year? Was there any mention of it in their computer files or anything?
Nope.
Is there
It
any?
wasn't even covered, and there should have been a payment last year and there wasn't. So, I don't know,
Do you have a printout of the costs?
I can, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
So then we should probably talk to Trish about it. Because I pay every year for Callis $26,500.
Yeah, and this budget is paying for our ongoing every
Yeah,
year
yeah.
maintenance.
It's 8,800.
But I'm talking about the startup costs.
Yeah.
It was split into 3 payments.
Yeah,
And that should have been, the first one should have been paid last year, but for some reason they forgot to bill it, so, and there was no money in my budget to pay it.
I wonder where she thought that was coming out of.
Don't have a clue.
Yeah, because of, the only reason I said like, we pay for each of our own catalyst thing. And then the fiddler, which is the one that connects, we can, I don't know.
That's the northeast one.
Okay, so Fiddler has no.
This is the public So if you look, we've got, it's projected that for GIS work, contract work with MSA, that's that one sheet I gave you, the single sheet. Yep. And it's, the total, you add it up, it's 46,600. 20 would come out of the strategic grants and 26,600 out of the base budget grants.
That's separate from 4820.
Well, it come under this one,
23.
the grants. 48 is the retained fees. So that's where the first line here, the next two, it says Esri licenses twice. That's where we need to talk about, and that's why it's kind of Scott's here, the Esri licenses is what helps run the websites. Correct, Scott?
Yeah, essentially, there does a lot of things, obviously. But one of the main reasons, we're looking at really fine tuning the Esri licensing is because first and foremost, we want to make sure that with staff changes and how people are using it, that everyone's needs are being met. But then second of all, Esri will be going through a major change in the manner in which they license their software come March of 26. And so because your renewal is before that, you would be good basically until following renewal. But we want to also make sure that we are, not having a huge increase then because of those changes. And we want to sort of be ahead of it. And then a third reason is that once we put the current aerial photo on the web GIS, there's been a lot of essentially resource and performance issues. And after doing some support with Esri and some of the suggested things they have, it's sort of still hasn't remedied the issue. And of course, Esri provides an additional module that sort of runs on top of that to help you troubleshoot and deal with those kinds of performance issues. But of course, it costs extra. And so to really fine tune to figure that out, we're looking at possibly purchasing that. So overall, there's some additional licensing costs that are going to be expected essentially for all three of those reasons. And then as well, we may want to see about the possibility of changing how we serve the web GIS, and maybe it isn't something that's on county server and hardware and network infrastructure. There is an option to push that to a fully cloud-based system that would be essentially off-site and off-premise managed by Esri Cloud entirely. So we just want to make sure we're doing the best thing and using the cost for licensing the best possible way. Oh yeah, and the one of the options we had we had a range in there, Kathy, right? Am I getting ahead of us?
Nope, you're fine.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a range, and basically the low end of the range is mostly to continue on as we know with some sort of expected additional because of staff usage. And then the highest end range is kind of, Esri quoted the county a price to do what they call an enterprise agreement, which allows the entire organization to have basically unlimited software licensing for a flat fee. So it would cover sort of anything we ever need. It's obviously a little bit more than what we'd expect, but it covers everything you could possibly need. And then additionally, which some people find beneficial, is that it locks in that price, and I believe they said 6 years. Is that right, Kathy?
We have it for 3. We have it for 3 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, I thought it was 6. I guess either way, the fact that you're locked in on a price helps, planning for the future for a lot of
Yeah.
organizations that use it.
No,
It would not.
it's a 3-year contract.
Okay.
And the reason this is coming to land information is because this is usually covered by the NG 911 grant. And since the NG 911 grant has not been released, we need to pay for these licenses. So that's why you're seeing it this year on the land information grant. So tomorrow we're gonna work on usage done in zoning and land information to see how those people are using their mapping and see what issues they're having. And then we'll have a discussion on which way to go. Keep the 15,600, knowing there's changes coming, or go for the big package of 30,200. So,
Would you give on, like Scott said,
yeah, and right now we're sharing seats.
Oh,
And we're sharing time in on the map and that kind of stuff. So if people are using it, then they have to get out so that somebody else can use it. And we want to see how that's all working down in land information and zoning.
Yeah, so not to harp on this, but item 8B, the Esri email chain in the packet, the last page of that discusses option 2, purchase of an enterprise agreement. And that does say 6 years.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, and it's listed as page 6, but it's the last page because I think the email chain kind of just, goes on. But either way,
Oh.
and that I believe that was sent to John Cooey, and that was from the county's Esri account rep.
Oh.
So we can be pretty confident that, I mean,
yeah.
I guess we can't be 100% confident on anything, but
Option 2,
correct.
6 years.
That kind of gives you a little bit of insight on sort of the genesis of that range. Just parts, basically that's mostly the sort of the third item that I mentioned, and kind of it includes some aspects of that first part of, do we need more licensing for our users?
6 years. So is that 6 years as part of 2 3-year agreements put together, or is that?
We'll have to ask that question. Because the
I mean,
quotes are 3 years and then.
Oh,
says
you-
6 years.
Wait, the quote they sent, actually, yeah, that's an
And only
interesting.
3 years and the
And-
email says 6 years.
Yeah, okay, so I would definitely go by the quote. I
Yeah.
totally missed the quote, sorry. And that aligns with what I know Esri to do more. That's why at MSA we have just entered our own enterprise agreement, and ours is 3 years. And so that makes a ton more sense. So I would honestly disregard the email, the number in the email, and just go with that. So, I mean, it'd be nice to have it locked in for 6, but I think we go with what the quote says.
Yeah, the quote has 3, so.
Yep. Sorry to confuse it more.
So if we end up going with this first one, we'd have 35,688 left, minus the 10,000 from the Fiddler Adobe thing, so we'd have like 25,688. And if it was the other one, we'd have $11,088 to use towards something else.
Yeah, and we won't know that until tomorrow, so we should just get all of our bids in that people want in, so then we'll have to decide what we work on and what we don't, I guess.
That makes sense, Deb?
Yes, except for I don't have the bids from MIS yet.
For your information.
Your scanner thing, right?
Scan. So what I wanted to do was present it both ways, with us having Fiddler do it and have a company come in and do the scanning. And then Fiddler puts the images together and then we just index them versus us actually doing the scanning and then having to index the
Okay.
images.
So the scanning if you were to buy the scanner, would it be, so you have, how many, you have a lot of books to do yet? Is there quite a few books left?
This is all the indexes. So it's all of them. There's 30 some books.
So the indexes capture what's in the book?
Yes, the indexes are, it has all of the, well, it's so that you can search grantor, grantee. And what I asked them for is not what they actually gave me. They gave me the fancy version of them doing all of this, image, enhancements and getting rid of margins and whole pages in the hole, or holes in the pages, things like that. And I'm like, that's not what I asked for.
Oh, so
I asked for bare minimum to just scan them so that we could store them in case we did have to recreate them at some point.
so you're getting another bid.
Yes, but they
Okay.
haven't gotten it yet, so
Yeah.
they did do what I asked.
We still have time.
Right,
I mean,
we have to take this to, I take it to the Natural Resources Committee, have them approve it, and I did talk to Trish, and it doesn't need to go any further than that, because she can sign off on these, but I have to have the packet. Unfortunately, the meeting is the 24th of this month.
Well, I should have it before then, as long
Yeah.
as it can be part of what's on that agenda.
And so,
And even if we put it in and we do a little tweaking on numbers.
Yep.
I mean, at least we have,
we've got numbers.
we have the numbers that we need in there.
And,
So,
and if we can, I think purchasing the scanner is the way to go, because then we have the ability to do other things that
So-
we wouldn't have before.
Right.
So we're paying for Blue Sky if we have them do the project, but if we buy the scanner, we do the work, then we're actually gonna have the scanner to use for other projects.
And the whole thing is, if we put it in, depending on where it goes, we could use that, say, put that money, unless we have other projects, otherwise we could put that money in a grant under, be probably project 3, base budget grant project 3. And then we can always amend it if we need to.
but the other thing is, with the scanner, so so with the scanner, what other,
Do you have to update your software?
No, this is an approved scanner with Fiddler, so this works with their system. So instead of us hiring a company to come in, scan all these pages, make a file, send it to Fiddler, they process it, then they input it. We would be scanning directly into Avid, we'd be processing as we go, so it'd take longer, but it would be way less.
And then
expensive.
you'd be using it all the,
so it has to be used for only deeds, the scanner.
Yes,
yeah.
Not for,
So that
birth
would do,
certificates
like,
or anything else.
you get
because
new
that's
ones?
we don't scan that stuff.
Lands,
no.
so what else would you use it for besides the land and records?
Mapping, you know, we could scan maps or,
Oh, like the certified maps? Was it as they come in?
Easements?
well, it's a large format. I mean, we could use it if our other scanners break down, we could use it to do land records too. So I mean, it would be a backup for that as well, because the most expensive scanner which I think is gonna be around $6,000. It actually has a flatbed and it has a 100-page feeder, so you could do both. So it's multi-purpose, you know, in case one of our other ones would, you know, quit working, so we could use it, you know, when we scan paper documents that come in too. So, because those are just a small scanner that's desktop, you know, that you just feed the pages in and it's just a little unit. But this is, the
And-
ones that.
Yeah, and so this, as you get new deeds and stuff in, then you would,
We could use it for that, yes. Right now, we have them we each have one on our desktop, but this is a little bit larger. This is probably gonna be this size unit. We'd probably have to put it in the other, you know, in our other office. But it would work for that as well.
Would that be more efficient?
Not really more efficient, but in order to get the flatbed scanner that's big enough to get the pages of the books, then we need to get the one that has both capabilities. The other ones have a scanner that's just this size, you know. Our pages are 14 inches long.
11 by 17.
No, they're not,
they're
they're,
8.5 by 11.
no, they're 8.5 by 14.
14, I meant to say 14,
Yes,
legal.
Glad you.
yeah, well, it's a little over legal, but usually that's large enough. But it will scan a little over, do the ledgers.
Glad you have. Okay. That'd be worth it. You
And-
can use that in perpetuity.
Yes, yes, and it's Fiddler approved, so if we have issues, then compatibility isn't a problem, so then they'll work with us.
You can put that in your brain.
Well, that's what we have to decide as a group.
Yes.
I would be in favor of that.
Well, and we have to first,
But you
Get-
gotta go to Fiddler dance.
we have to first get your numbers
Mhm.
and your bid. And then we have to also look at what we have in our land information plan to make sure we can tie it together. So, and then see where it fits, how much we can spend and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you want to get our quotes, that'd be great, so we can have them and put them in.
Right.
And then can you give us like an overview too, so what you're gonna use? That way, if they come back to us and they say, no, we're not gonna, then we have supporting documentation.
And it says, yeah, I can keep it with the grant paperwork.
So if you don't mind, that'd be
Yep.
great. That way, if he mixes it right off the top, then we can at least have supporting documentation.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah, then,
And then are you gonna add, are you going to finish dam shadows then? Are you gonna add those onto next year as well?
we'll see what things go. I can always add it later as an addendum.
So why don't we put it on there as a line item, so at least.
I'll do it under the base budget 4, I'll just write dam shadows and we've got
Yeah,
them.
so everything is on this that we need to see in front of us,
Yeah,
so that we can all vote on what we're going to.
and I think, and the whole thing with that one too, we might be able to use, we'll have to work with Scott and them, and we've got the LiDAR, so that might be able to help us with that dam shadow thing a little easier.
Are we sure that the licensing is the reason why the system is freezing up and not performing? Are we sure it's not because our server isn't too small, because the data is on our server, right?
You got it, Scott?
Yeah, I'll speak to that. The most recent like freeze up crash issue that I have experienced, I was actively monitoring the system, the server resources, and they had plenty of room to spare. And so honestly, to say it's licensing is probably a little bit of a misnomer. The ability to troubleshoot it with that monitor piece is better. And when we last had that support ticket with Esri, they gave us a bunch of things and we tried them all. And Jason even put plenty of processing and memory resources to the server, and that's where I was saying is I was monitoring those and there was plenty available when the crash happened. So from that aspect, I'm confident in saying that it is not the system resources. From the server side of things, if there are other network like bottlenecks that are causing it, that an IT person might have to address, that I can't say, but from just a sort of simple hardware, sort of, again, processing power and memory resources on the GIS server directly, it's not that. So if it's anything infrastructure wise, it's happening somewhere else, downstream per se. And I don't necessarily know a way to address that. But I do think after we've done that and when we've seen this, we do need to open another support ticket with Esri. But it is definitely a valid question that we can't say for certain that it's like simply simply not because it's hosted on site. But there's definitely something strange going on. So and it needs more troubleshooting.
So I'll use the 15,000, what is it, 600, that was part of it. That will be only if we get it in right away, and that'll only be for this 2025, 2026, we'll have to figure out something different, correct?
Was that question for me to say about?
Well, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
understanding, right.
So
The
go ahead.
15,000 one, that's only good.
It is only good until they make more changes come March 2026. It'll be for the 26 up to 27, right?
Yeah, so you get, and that's you actually technically have, I guess, a good renewal time because the renewal is a full 12 months, right? And your renewal is 3 months before that major change. So you'll be good basically from the Esri changes, the licensing changes, basically until we're having the same discussion next year.
So next year, we'd have to go to something different. Next year, 2027, we'd have to have something different.
Yes.
Correct. You will have something different is less more than it's more specifically it'll be priced different and the way that they're distributed will be different. You could literally have the same amount you have now, an amount of users, but how it's priced is going to change. Now, first and foremost, that main thing is there will be no ability to essentially share licenses. They're going to what they call a named user model, which means every person who turns on GIS needs their own username and license.
So it means like down in our office, I sometimes use it, Derek sometimes uses it, Corey
Correct.
sometimes uses it, and if, and there's I don't know how many concurrent licenses are, so say there's two of them and they're filled, if Derek and Corey are on, I can't get on.
That's correct. The concurrent, or also known as floating licensing, is being retired completely. And so right now, you could technically have unlimited number of installs in one organization and one floating or concurrent license amongst them all, and it's just whoever was the first one to grab it gets to use it until they close it, and then it's available for the pool. It goes back into the pool for the rest of the users to choose. And that's what you're saying is you have. I mean, we've identified, was it like 8 active users, and there might be using 3 concurrent licenses. Though some of those it could also be that they're only using a web version of the license, which is a little different. So it might only be like 6. But either way, it's going to change. It's going to go up. But that also doesn't incorporate any of this, the need for the monitor. If we do deem that like literally there's nothing wrong with the way the thing is set up and they say the only thing that you can do is purchase monitor to figure out and optimize these things better so they're not having as much problems, then there's that fee, and that I would say can't wait till 227, right? So that's that additional That's not in the Esri quote of the enterprise agreement, but it is in that email chain one. So basically the monitor is an additional, what was it, $4,700? Yeah, $4,750. So it would take your current maintenance right there up to 20,000. And so that would be even just for this year, if you just kept on how you had it. So hopefully I didn't like make it more confusing. But the point there is the current maintenance is likely to go up even next year. So if you said we're going to just do this year and get that monitor at 20,000, chances are it's going to go up another. It could go up another 10,000. So you're already in that 30,000 range. And I'm not certain that the price for the EA will be the same in 27. But again, we may deem that from our further research that Julie mentioned, that the answer is not to buy this monitor. The answer might be to say, look, we need to no longer have the GIS with a web GIS infrastructure in-house, and it should be outside of the county network, which is more of a, you won't need that 47,000, but you still may need, $30,000 in licensing other ways. We just don't know what exactly that would look like yet. And that most likely is more of an effort-based thing than a licensing cost.
So we'll know more tomorrow when we meet, see what the usage is in land information and see how they're running their sites. And then we also talked to Sheriff. They have 2 licenses. Josh has a license for culverts. And then there's 2 licenses that MIS has. And then I have a license. And then there's the 3 or 4 shared licenses in zoning. So we have a lot to talk about tomorrow as to, what our whole group is gonna look like and what is the best option, so. So we still have to find out how much the sheriffs are paying for their 2 licenses, which we don't know. We have to find that out yet, so we should have all that put together tomorrow. When you're here to visit with the land information and zoning group. So.
So like I said, I would want to get her quotes so we can figure that out too.
Yep, so once we have Deb's quotes, then we can see that as well.
Can I just ask a question? So I guess I just want more clarification. So you're saying that you're gonna use it for indexing, is that correct?
The
You're
scanner.
talking about the scanner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's to scan images.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you're gonna use it to scan images,
Mhm.
like old images or like updated ones?
Old.
Because from my understanding, I thought Sue was done with the old scans.
She did the records, but she didn't do any of the indexes. So she has pictures of the documents, but she didn't do the indexes themselves,
So the
which is also
indexes-
historical.
Can you explain that?
That's the grantor grantee indexes.
Okay, so that's not what Fiddler does though. I just wanted just clarification.
The indexes are what we had to use before the computers came along. And they're historical. They're in books, each book has a pair, a grantor book and a grantee book.
Okay.
So you can search by those names.
Okay.
And then-
Two different books, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
And then there's also short legals and other information. So party names and legals, volume and pages, all kinds of stuff.
so this would be like a second copy of what Fiddler already has, is that?
No, no, Fiddler does not have the indexes. They only have the images. The individual images are indexed. But if there's ever a problem,
So they have the grantee, the document number, the grantor, and then the brief legal description and the picture.
they don't have the brief legals for any of the older stuff. That's only from 2006 forward.
Okay, so what you want to do is do all the indexing to kind of have a copy with just more information than Fiddler has. Is that-
Yes, and that would, it's a little bit of redundancy, but it also has the information that if we were to lose those images or if they're not indexed properly, then we could go back and search that and find them that way.
Okay, and then the books are what is actually the document number, who did it with.
Those are in, yeah, the indexes are not in there, but the documents themselves, the individual documents are, but the indexes.
So like, I'm just wondering why Fiddler didn't have that when they were doing all this. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Because of the
to me.
cost.
I feel like that should have already been done. And it's nothing against you, I just was like, that would make
Well,
sense to me that would be done.
first-
all at the
First
same
of all, it's money, and second of all, when Sue set up the project, she's never been a searcher. She doesn't understand how you use the indexes. So it wasn't a concern for her. And because of my experience, I see this as an issue.
Okay.
So this is going back to beginning, basically.
Right.
So this is adding that layer of redundancy so that if something is misplaced, we could find it.
Okay.
Another way.
Yes, I just wanted to.
Yes.
So we have a
Thank you.
problem like I.
Like Iowa County, exactly. Tina brought that up. Iowa
Yeah.
County lost their entire index.
Yeah.
And if we do this, then we could recreate if there was an issue.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I
For
just wanted-
one or for all.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check because it
Yep.
wasn't listed as an indexing in our plan, so I just wanted
Yeah.
to double check why she never
Well,
mentioned that.
It's not listed as indexing because we would be doing that ourselves. So the scanning is what we need help with.
And the scanner would just do it automatically.
Well, we would put the books on there, physically scan each page, so it would take a lot more time. But it would enable us to do it in-house and not have to pay to have a company come in and either take all the books and take them elsewhere off-site to scan them, or bring in their equipment and scan them 24 hours. The other company, 24 hours, they have 3 crews. They would come in and it'd only take them 4 days to scan every book.
Okay, and we haven't gotten a quote on that then?
No, that's what
That's-
she said.
54,000.
Yeah.
But like I said, it includes a lot of fluff that we don't necessarily need, and they haven't gotten me that other quote yet.
Okay. No, I was wondering.
But I'm guessing it's probably still gonna be in the $25,000 at least range.
Well, like I said,
How many books are there?
There's 30 some.
Okay.
I don't know the exact number. I
So
don't.
maybe we could do them in groups if we can't afford all the 54. Or
No,
the 24.
no, that's not an option because the expense is either them coming and getting them and taking them off site or them bringing their equipment and scanning them on site.
Oh.
So it won't save, it'll cost us more if we do it
and shift.
in shifts. Yes.
Yeah, I would say.
We'd have to look and see under the, yeah, we'll have to look under
Yeah.
in the plan, see where it fits.
Because of logistics, I asked about that and they said, no, you don't want to do that because it's going to cost you 2 to 3 times more. Because they have to repeat everything. They have to get it all set up and they have to come and get them and it just takes a lot more time, which means a lot more money.
And you can do this when you're not doing other projects,
Mhm.
catching up on.
About 300 pages a book.
I don't know because they're not all completely full. Because of the way they use them, they had to match up. So they might have more entries in one book than the other for letters, because it's alphabetical. Yes. So you can't really guess because there's some empty pages in some books, there's more than others. So it's kind of a guess,
Okay.
which is also part of the reason why it costs a little more to have them do it because then there's more searching around to make sure they got everything.
So I jumped ahead to the Esri thing because it's part of this and
Mhm.
it helps to explain what's going on with that and then, like I said, if you get the quote, then we can kind of tweak everything. Are you guys okay with, us discussing it and going ahead? With, well, you're part of the group.
I'm like, that's the only way.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. And I just wanted clarification because I know like some people don't know what an index is, so I just wanted you to explain that.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
not that I'm in disfavor of it, I just wanted to be able to have everybody have the knowledge that you have.
Is Deb not at the meeting to propose this tomorrow?
Well, the meeting is just to talk about the Esri thing, to figure out what's going on with that. It's
I
not,
haven't invited to it either.
But
I
it's-
use it all the time, but I'm using the public site.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear what they have to say.
So, so I guess what I'm saying is, with what we've got in there right now, not kind of dam shadow thing, we'd have 25,000 or 11,000 left, depending on which after going through like what we're using down there for licenses and stuff and working with Scott and make sure we got everything covered.
I guess my thing is that these are only estimates, and so they're probably gonna go up from like what is estimated, especially if an NG 911 grant probably isn't released this time again this year. So I would probably play a little bit more conservative. And obviously throw in a project or whichever, but I would just be more conservative with the numbers just in case we don't get funding either. So that would be my opinion.
Okay. We want to make sure, yeah. Anybody else have anything to comment on how we want to do that? Does that make sense? Figure out what we need and then what Deb's got, and we can tweak our numbers to make sure we've got.
What time is your meeting tomorrow?
I'd rather that we just have it down there and we'll inform you on what's going on because it's more for the users and zoning and land information. And then we will come back up and talk about
Yeah, I understand that, but I do use it every day,
I
and if we
realize
do
that.
go with an
I'd
open
rather have these
licensing,
guys because they're having more
then
issues.
I'd like to know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
they're gonna go through our computers and see what we use, and then we're gonna come back up to look at things, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's when we see what our uses are, what we. And we're covered, and then come back up, and then we regroup.
We can let you know when we get to that point after we've talked with the users downstairs. We can update you.
Okay, what time you meeting down there then? So I know about when you might be,
I think we're around 8:30.
oh, right away in the
Yeah.
morning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't think I have anything going on later in the mornings.
Okay. So we're just gonna go through our systems and see what we use, because.
Yeah, I don't need to be part of that.
No, that's.
That I don't need. But
When we
I'd
get
like
to
to hear
the
what they
discussion
say.
about the website, we'll get you pick up.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. Yep, that'd be fine.
Okay.
All right, but if we, and then we'll see what that is, and then we'll work on your quotes. Like I said, I probably like week from today, I probably should have this stuff, if I can, to put in the natural resources folder with this grant to kind of finalize things. And like I said, if something gets tweaked, we can always do an amendment if we have to with the grant. That's pretty easy to do, and if, making sure I want to make sure we get our money spent, but I want to make sure we spend the right things.
When's the grant deadline?
December 31st.
Oh, gotcha.
So we have time to get your quotes and
Okay.
get them in the system and see where they're at.
But
and
doesn't
see-
it have to be approved though, before you submit it?
Only by the natural resources. Board,
Right.
So they've got another meeting before the end of December anyways, don't they?
No,
They
our
don't meet
December
in
meeting
December?
is the 24th
Oh, okay,
of November.
okay.
Because the county board, we have to take, not to change the thing, but, any rezonings have to be going to our committee 2 weeks before it goes to county board.
Theirs up because.
They move it up, so then we have to put our meeting up a week.
But
Gotcha.
our deadline is the 20th. Well, probably be the 20th.
Yeah, because I have to have the stuff in the folder. Let me,
So the 24th is Wednesday or Tuesday?
24th is a Monday.
Oh, God. So Friday,
Friday.
the Friday before then would be the.
Definitely, but if I could have it Thursday so I could type things up, which would be like the 20th, hopefully. And if not, I can kind of fudge stuff in to make sure we got the, if you, and then we have to amend, but yeah, I didn't realize the natural resources thing until I started doing it, the zoning stuff. So, are there any other project case, whatever happens that we don't need it? if we go, say we go with the cheaper one and Deb's stuff comes in, you know, what hers comes into, do we have any money left besides the dam shadows, anything else?
Well, we can look on the information plan too. But that, I mean, that's gonna eat up a ton of our money,
Yep,
so,
one way or the other,
you know,
between the two things, probably have our money.
It seems crazy to me that you have to pay extra for the software to figure out what's wrong with their software. I think that's a ripoff. I'm just saying, it is a big ripoff. Because if we have plenty of processing power, that makes no sense to me that why we have to figure out what's wrong with their program and pay extra for that.
Shouldn't that be part of the service?
Should be.
Is this something that John or Jason should be informed of?
they've been working with,
Yeah, they have.
MSA and,
Yeah,
yeah.
They've been
I-
doing their best.
For a
Yeah.
while.
I completely agree with you. Let me first say that
Thank you.
and that's why I've never wanted, I'm like, I've actually never even thought about purchasing this software. And partially it's just because we've been able to, get around these kinds of problems without it. And my understanding is that it's meant for very, very large distributed organizations who have much more,
Like traffic problems.
much more intensive things like state DOTs and the DNR. They use the same backbone from a software platform standpoint, but they obviously have a lot more traffic, a lot more people interacting on a daily basis, a lot more data that they're trying to push through, and they probably have multiple server machines that are all chained together to increase the resource and performance and processing, and so there's a lot more complexity in it, and so I'm not saying this is like the have to. I'm trying to avoid that at all costs. But it's one of those things like if their support staff can't figure it out, we need something to tell us that it is, and so this is an option, and so it's another reason why I'm pointing back to like if there's an ability to, if the cost for just your current licensing turns into not approaching the 30,000 for the enterprise agreement, well then that obviously becomes a little bit more of a no-brainer, and then you have the ability to utilize this. But I'm not saying that it's a requirement and it's the only thing to do, and I completely agree that it's a crappy position that we have to be in.
and for like us down in our office, it's about 2 o'clock or so every day.
Yeah.
It locks up, and then we're trying to find, somebody calls in, oh, what's this zoned as?
I'll call you back.
I'll call you back. Or, hey, we're looking, what's the septic plan on, they have a landowner's name, or they have an address. And we're like, okay, we can't look it up. So,
It is, it's mid-afternoon when it starts, you get the spinning wheel of death.
basically, yeah, that's what it is.
Well, and not to get into this, but those kind of things, like to track that down, it makes me think that there's something else happening inside the county networking. Like, is that when, just gonna throw something out there, when backups run and now there's like a conflict of something happening across communication channels, and
That's a
so,
good question for
but
John.
anytime it's sort of
Jason.
recreatable on a regular time
It's
schedule, you
regular.
ask those questions, right? Yeah.
It is pretty much daily,
Mhm.
pretty much daily, in the middle of the afternoon.
Would this help eliminate some of the expense for the IT people then, going to the newer system?
Instead of using web browsers and
Yeah.
having it in the cloud, maybe.
Right. So I mean, is that allocating?
Well, it would work out cheaper in the long run because then they don't have to back up and maintain servers and they don't have to troubleshoot that stuff. So it would take a lot off their plate, but it's kind of pricey to start with, so
Right, that's why we're kind of.
we're at that
When
point.
we sent that to me, I'm like, wow, that's a lot. Going from, a smaller amount to a larger amount like that.
And how much of a savings?
That's why we want to kind of look and see if we really need that or not, at least for this year. And then
Well,
come
that
back.
is, note that Julie and Kathy for tomorrow, that's something we should ask John and Jason that what is the cost
Asking
just
that
to,
today.
yeah, the cost to have,
Asking that today.
okay, the actual hardware, right?
Yeah.
The
Because
server
we're having that
and whatever it needs
connectivity.
there. And we just talked about, they threw more resources at it.
Right.
I can't imagine that was like I mean, maybe it was something they offset it from somewhere else, but either way, that's an investment that's happening somewhere, and now it's
Yep.
being dedicated to the GIS. And if it's failing to do what we need it to do, then yeah, there's a reason. Like, okay, when heck, the end return on investment,
Yes.
that's
Return
part
on
of it.
investment. Yes. And I thought that part of their budget was going to be for next year was going to be replacing servers, so. And because I gave them the contact information from Fiddler so that they could talk about using Bastion to host our data. So I don't know if they followed through with that or not, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's expensive to replace servers for the kind of processing power that we have to have for this kind of system, so.
I remember what we first started out with, when we first started land information.
Right.
So essentially, when you go to the website, see, it's gonna be each user at this point. So like, you go in there and then it goes to its own platform, or is it embedded into the county website?
It's not in the county website if
But
you
you
do it
click-
on the cloud.
So you click on a link though, and then it goes to its own page off the county website.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like what we have with Fiddler.
Yeah.
When we log in, we're not on the county website. We're on the web and we're logging into their system.
Right, yeah, the taxes too, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's a platform on its, that they're hosting, but I don't think it really should have anything to do with us then.
Right, it'd just be a link.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
You're doing your work on somebody else's server somewhere else, who knows where, but
That doesn't make sense.
The
tab.
end user
What's it, the
experience,
tab Hub or whatever. they're
yeah,
putting-
the end user experience is very
Yeah.
minimally different.
Yeah.
It should, for all intents and purposes, be unperceptible to the end user.
it's just whose processing power you're working off of.
Correct.
All it is.
So, I don't know. Are we looking at numbers, the finalizing the project for the grant? If we go ahead and finish this, and is it right to take it with what we've discussed to the Natural Resources Committee once we sort out Esri thing and then sort out Deb's thing?
Yeah, it will send it out to everybody so that they can have a look and say, and
Yep.
then we will take it to land information. That way everybody isn't caught by what was in there, so you're all aware.
Yeah,
Be fair.
Thank you.
okay. Number 7 was just the report.
So Fund 23 currently with all the bills that we've paid out this year has $221,960. And the land information, Fund 48 has $208,816.41 in it. So, we're still paying bills out. We have some other things that, I don't think I have anything but MSA's bills now to come unless there's something else that needs to be paid, so. And do we have one more fiddler? No,
Yeah.
that one's taken care of, right?
There'll be one more coming in December.
December, okay.
I guess I would like to see, like, with these is, we have our grants here, but then like what is actually being paid. So you can itemize it, okay, so we have a 2025 grant, you've paid this amount for this, and this is what was actually paid.
Sure.
So we can actually keep track over time what we're actually putting in the budget versus what we are actually paying. Because then when you read this, you don't know which grant it's actually being used from. I think that would be very helpful to be able to kind of understand the numbers that you guys rattle off, because we don't know that.
Yeah, we aren't working with it all the time.
So, yeah, and so for me, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, what's left? We don't actually know because I can't actually see it. So I think that would be helpful for us to be able to make a better informed decision on certain things of what we have left from this one, and this one, and to be able to kind of move around.
I totally agree.
So,
You put that together?
thank you.
No, we had,
But these are great too. That's not what I'm saying. I just thought.
we kind of did that, I kind of did that before when we were,
Last year.
yeah, so we just need to,
Just update it. Maybe that would be wonderful to see. Yeah.
and we can kind of get it out, do the 25, what we've kind of, where we're at, because 24 is pretty much done.
And you'll be able to better analyze,
Mhm.
like, what the recurring percentages of it increasing year after year, which would be helpful to do the grants as well. Or is anticipate what could possibly be charged next year.
And we already went through the ESRI stuff.
Yep.
We don't need that, and that's, the stuff that's in there is the older, some of the older stuff. So, I don't, unless something comes up, I don't think we need to set another date for the next meeting. Unless,
Right now, at this time, we don't. Because we have issues.
I mean, unless you just wanted us to meet to approve what you're doing the natural resources one more time, or if you just want us to do it over online or whatever, just say this is okay, it's totally, it doesn't matter to me.
I think that's a good idea,
Yeah.
just so we can put it all together again if we have questions.
yeah, no, we'll get it, we'll put it out and then. I'm sorry, guys. I can't think, like I said, after tomorrow, we'll get out what we've got, and then as soon as Deb gets her information, we'll add that.
Otherwise, do I make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Do you want to make
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Scott.
Mm.